da ne bi bilo igitur, juvenes dum sumus, gaudeamus igitur, juvenes dum sumus, post iucundum juventutem, post molestam senectutem, nos habebit humus, nos habebit humus. Vivat academia, vivant professores, vivat academia, vivant professores, vivat membrum quod libet, vivant membra qualibet, semper sint in flore, semper sint in flore.
Spoštovani predsednik Republike Slovenije, gospod Borut Pahor, cenjeni veleposlaniki Romunije, Madžarske, Rusije, Indije, Kraljevine Tajske, dragi profesori in seveda spoštovane študentke in študenti, dobrodošli na otvoritvi že 6. znanstvene konference z mednarodno udeležbo, ki organizira Alma Mater Europaea. Dear President of Slovenia, Mr. Borut Pahor, esteemed excellencies, ambassadors of Hungary, Romania, Thailand, India, dear professors, and of course, above all, dear students, welcome to the opening of the 6th Scientific Conference with international participation of Alma Mater Europaea. Sedaj pa k besedi vabim profesorja dr. Ludvika Toplaka, predsednika Alma Mater Europaea. Please, Professor Ludvik Toplak, President of Alma Mater Europaea, join me on stage.
Spoštovani gospod predsednik Republike, Vaša ekscelenca Borut Pahor, spoštovani gospod predsednik Evropske akademije znanosti in umetnosti in predsednik Alma Mater Europaea of the European Academy of Sciences and Arts in Salzburg.
Dear Mr. President Borut Pahor, dear Professor Dr. Felix Unger, President of the European Academy of Sciences and Arts, Salzburg.
Spoštovani gospod profesor Boštjan Žekš, bivši predsednik Slovenske akademije znanosti in umetnosti,
dear Professor Boštjan
svetovalec
Žekš,
predsednika Republike.
Professor Boštjan Žekš, former President of Slovenian Academy of Sciences and Arts.
Spoštovane ekscelence, ambasadorji, hvala za vaš prispevek vaših znanstvenikov, da s svojim delom prispevajo k mednarodnim kulturnim odnosom.
Dear Excellencies, thank you very much for your contribution to science.
Spoštovani gospod profesor Laszlo Rozeval, ki v imenu vlade Madžarske in Univerze Semmelweis danes simbolno preda umetniško izdelan spomenik dr. Ignaca Semmelweisa, ki bo stal v Univerzitetnem kliničnem centru učni bazi naših študentov.
Dear Professor Rozeval from Semmelweis University, Budapest, thank you very much for contributing the bust of Dr. Semmelweis today during this opening of the exhibit, which will, of course, later on stand in the park in front of the University Medical Hospital.
Magnificence rektori Univerze v Novi Gorici, Univerze v Mostarju, Univerze v Moskvi in prorektorji ter predstavniki drugih akademskih institucij.
Directors of the University of Mostar, Nova Gorica, dear representatives of other academic institutions.
Spoštovani keynote speakerji in vodje sekcij in referenti.
Dear keynote speakers, chairs of sections and delegates.
Spoštovani predstavniki državnih, javnih, lokalnih in akademskih ustanov, hvala, da spremljate sodobne in domače in svetovne trende.
Dear representatives of public, local, academic and religious institutions, thank you very much for following the local and global trends.
Hvala vam, profesorji in znanstveniki Alma Mater in vsem sodelavcem, ki ste v pedagoško delo vključili aktualne vsebine za bodoče delo in življenje študentov.
Thank you very much to all professors and scientists of Alma Mater Europea and all of the co-workers who have invested time and dedication and included the current contents for future work.
Mladih raziskovalcev ter tako omogočate študentov pogled v sodobne svetovne tokove.
That connected young researchers and enabled them a view in modern scientific
Posebej
currents.
pozdravljeni študenti Alma Mater, ki sedaj po predavalnicah spremljate delo znanstvene konference, pišete komentarje, ocene znanstvenih prispevkov in tako vstopate v svet znanosti, odkrivanja skrivnosti, narave in največje skrivnosti, to je človek sam.
Dear students who are now following our live streaming in various lecture halls, thank you very much for following the scientific conference and so herewith entering the world of science.
Pozdravljeni vsi dragi gostje, dame in gospodje ter novinarji, ki spremljate 6. znanstveno konferenco Za človeka gre, izzivi za znanost in izobraževanje. In hvala, da z dobrimi sporočili plemenitite srca in bistrite razum.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, representatives of public relations and journalists, thank you very much for following the 6th scientific conference and provide or transfer good messages from it.
Alma Mater Europea vstopa v 10. leto svojega dela. Zadnja leta vlaga veliko naporov, da zlasti z magistrskimi in doktorskimi programi kreativno vstopi v svet znanosti.
Alma Mater has initiated the 10th year of its operations, and in the last few years we have invested a lot of efforts to creatively enter the world of science.
5 let dela pod akademskim patronatom European Academy of Sciences and Arts of the EASA in Salzburg. In s tem tako omogoča, da vključujemo znanstvenike iz vsega sveta.
We have been working under the institutional and academic patronage of the European Academy of Sciences and Arts, and thank you very much for enabling us the access to the network of world scientists and Nobel Prize winners.
To je nedvomno največje zaupanje in poklon, ki ga mednarodna akademska skupnost lahko izkaže, vse zahvaljujoč širokodušnosti in plemenitim nagibom profesor dr. Felixa Ungarja.
Well, we have seen a lot of trust, and it is a very important gift that the academic community, being headed by Professor Dr. Felix Ungar, the President of the European Academy, has given us.
Vse to z namenom, da v Srednji Evropi formiramo akademsko institucijo, ki bo gradila mostove med kulturami, verami, narodi, generacijami, vse na principu transnacionalnosti in interdisciplinarnosti.
All of that, of course, within the principle to work interdisciplinary, transnationally, and building bridges, connecting cultures, religions, countries, and generations.
Alma Mater je danes visokošolska ustanova v Sloveniji, ki ima najvišjo zaposljivost diplomantov in največ tujih študentov in najmanj javne podpore.
Alma Mater Europea is a higher education institution that has the highest share of international students and the lowest level of financial governmental support.
Kot tako imenovana applied institucija sledimo principom relevance v izobraževanju, ki se potrdi v zaposljivosti.
As an applied institution, we follow the principles of relevance in education, which of course is confirmed by high employability.
Relevance v znanosti, ki se potrdi v neposredni ali posredni implementaciji znanstvenih odkritij.
Relevance in science that is confirmed by direct or indirect implementation of scientific findings.
Kakovosti, ki se utrdi v domači in mednarodni konkurenci.
Quality that is confirmed by local, national and international competition.
In racionalizaciji, ki se potrdi v ceni zaposljivega diplomanta ali ceni porabljenega denarja za primerljivo enoto znanosti, koristne za družbo.
And rationalization that is confirmed by the price of the employable graduate or money used for one unit in science that is useful or added value for taxpayers.
Na kraju še hvala cenjenim sodelavcem za trud in nam za potrpljenje, posebej predsednici organizacijskega odbora, gospe profesor Filevi.
At the end, I would like to thank all of my co-workers and especially the president of the organizing committee, docent Dr. Bojana File, for her dedication and work.
Hvala gospod predsednik Republike za vaš odziv in hvala vsem cenjenim gostom, želim uspešno delo konference.
Thank you very much, Mr. President Borut Pahor, for participating at this conference, and thank you very much to everybody for being here. I wish you a good conference.
Gospod župan, lepo pozdravljeni, dobrodošli.
And welcome also.
Mariboru, Dr. Fištravec.
Also a warm welcome to the mayor of the city of Maribor, Mr. Andrej Fištravec. Thank you very much. Ja. Najlepša hvala predsedniku Alma Mater, profesorju dr. Ludviku Toplaku. Sedaj pa k mikrofonu vabim profesorja dr. Feliksa Ungarja, predsednika Evropske akademije znanosti in umetnosti. So as we've heard, Alma Mater has been working under the academic and institutional patronage of the European Academy of Sciences and Arts. So please, Professor Dr. Felix Ungar, President of the European Academy, join me on stage. The speech will be in English and will not be translated into Slovenian, to se pravi govor bo v angliškem jeziku in ga ne bomo prevajali.
Mr. President Pahor, dear protector from our academy, I'm very happy and proud meeting you here again in Slovenia, but today in Maribor. And for me it's always coming to Maribor a wonderful experience. I have to confess that a part of my family, dear Mayor, is coming from Maribor. You see, I'm indirectly related to Maribor. And so I like being here, and especially the weather is also giving a wonderful chance for this day. First, I have to express my gratitude that so many young people are here in the audience. And I just said to the President when we walked through the garden here to the hall, when I'm under such young people, then I feel myself quick, younger, back again. And maybe, and also to joining since Alma Mater. But ladies and gentlemen, we have to congratulate Professor Toplak for all his efforts, what he has done here with the European Center of Alma Mater Europaea. It's really fascinating how it's growing. It's like in the old proverbs of the students, crescat florat, vivat, it's giving a wonderful sign of life and not in a progress on a daily basis. You see the progress in the advanced years. Professor Toplak, many congratulations what you have achieved, and please continue to do so in the next time too. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Toplak was always saying that Alma Mater Europaea is a part of the European Academy of Science and Arts. And when I recall, one of the great missions of the Academy is to be interdisciplinary, transnational, that's in Europe very important, and building bridges. That was a testimony of Cardinal König that we should build bridges. And when I see you European bridges, Professor Toplak, that you are giving sculptures from Maripur to many other university centers, that's also a reach out with bridges and to remind people that we are one continent and one big tradition, and we have to live in this big tradition. Ladies and gentlemen, when I take in account the topic of this meeting, then it's really indeed very challenging. It's not something what you can say, a little bit science and a little bit education. Ladies and gentlemen, science and education becomes in Europe a very, very important task. And this task to fulfill is the future of our continent. When we are not concentrating on sciences, on education, we are losing the quality of our continent. And this is not easily said, it's a reality when we are looking globally and we see what we all have to do to keep up with the other states. Ladies and gentlemen, especially now we have the education sciences as a problem based to our long tradition. But the problem in the long tradition in Europe has been that we are starting to think too lazy and too poor. We are tired in thinking on our continent. This is a very, very sad standpoint. We are in Europe indeed challenged in the East by China, Singapore, Japan, and so on. We are in the West challenged by the United States. And sometimes it reminds me on the destiny of Burgundy. You all know Burgundy. What is left from Burgundy? Not much. Burgundy was really squeezed in the west from the French kingdom, in the east from the Habsburg. Then it was totally squeezed, and today we have only a wine called Burgundy and a sausage Burgundy. And I would say that's not my option in the next 100 years, that Europe is famous for its wine production or for its sausage production. We need more. And it's the whole environment and attitude in sciences. And when we're looking to the East, I am always fascinating what they have on equipment and what they have on high quantity of investigators. And secondly, how they focus on education too. That's a very combination, science and education. You have to transmit your results. It seems that in the East countries there is the impact of the financial sources endless, providing the investigators and absorbing European knowledge. I see it always when big waves of people are coming to Europe. They are looking carefully what we are doing, since they go home, make copies, and are going to challenge us by a new competition. To speak a little bit on a reality, I show you as example my experience which I gained on a tour through Singapore. I've been in Singapore and I've been at the universities, and I tell you, I was speechless. I have been in an institute for neurological sciences, and they have equipment that's you can't dream on it. They had, for example, in this institute, 3 magnetic resonance tomographies only for research. In my hospital, we would be very happy to have 1 such a good tomography, what they have, by the way, with 3. And I was really surprised on the energy, what they are producing on scientific output. The Nanyang University was 10 years ago a university not very well known, but now they are on the in the ranking on place 13. And I have observed that many Europeans are working there in their labs for 1-2 years and producing new scientific results. Similar to this was my surprising effect to the education. I have seen a big hall for medical education. It was a course on internal medicine, and in the room have been 200 students. And the 200 students were grouped in tables with 8 students with a computer. And what was fantastic, there was a docent. He has told them a case report, and the students on the table had to make first a diagnosis, how they came to the diagnosis, and what they would like to do or recommend. And then the results are in the computer, and the central computer is looking on the result. And when the table had a very opposite other meanings, then they have been asked why did they approach this diagnosis, what was the element for this diagnosis, what they would like to do. It was really an active training with the students on a direct case, but not only speaking on the case, it was also in this active learning, it's a character of team learning. It's a new process-oriented thinking, and I can only, as a person answer, say what we are doing in our education. I must confess, it's a little bit poorly. We have to improve there enormously how to get a new form of an education, get people in a team trained, in a process orientated. And when I was speaking to some colleagues of mine, he said, yeah, he has been also in those countries and he knows it. But then he said, we are very good in Austria is on gender. That at the university we have teams with these topics in a main concentration. It's only a little bit a joke, but it's a reality that those efforts have to be done in a new way of education. And then you can look in 10 or 12 years on the results. Another aspect what we have to address is brain drainage. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an enormous brain drainage now to the Far East. We have a brain drainage as it has always been to the United States. But I learned in Bavaria another brain drainage that was in Middle Europe. Many doctors have been trained, for example, in Romania. Then from Romania, they are moving to Hungary, and then from Hungary to Slovakia, and from Slovakia to Czechia, and finally they end in Bavaria. And this is, in this way, quite sad, because people have been educated in Romania and are learning or are practicing in Bavaria. And I would say that's not the essence of a state to train people, where people is then going to other places to be active there. Maybe it's a small comment, but maybe it's a big mistake that we offer university studies with free of charge. And when you charge people, really, as the students are used it in the United States or in other cities, then you can finance the whole study not only via taxes, you can finance it directly with a fee. And therefore, this is so important to get here the soul of a new financing. Ladies and gentlemen, for me it's enormous, awful, and enormous alerting that our science and education is is not standing on the proper place as it should be. And therefore, Professor Toplak, I am happy that you have chosen this topic for your meeting. It's not only a challenge among us, it's a total challenge of our society, where we would like to go, where we would like to be positioned, where we would like to be seen, how we can compete and contribute in the whole global world. And this, I think, is so important to make also aware all our politicians in Brussels. I've been quite often in Brussels, but my comment would be not such as elegant that it deserves to be said here. Enormously much to do it. And the challenges, when we are looking a little bit in is topics in all our areas, and it's very easily said. We have our challenges in the economy, in information technology, in artificial intelligence, health, big computers, and in all the environment. But on the other hand side, when I'm speaking on artificial intelligence, robotic, then I have seen a short film where a computer was conducting an orchestra, and I think that's not what we would like to wish, that a robot is going to replace us all together. A robot is only supplementary to each other. But ladies and gentlemen, what we have in Europe really in a positive way to contribute to the earth? We have in Europe, we taught the whole world on democracy. We taught them on human rights and tolerance. And I think those things have to be taught in a way of an interdisciplinary, that we are saying our asset are those items where we can contribute to the world too. And so I see, dear Professor Toplak, that the alma mater has indeed a very important position in Central Europe, especially in the Danube area, to produce the proper soil where science, where education can flourish. And don't forget, those things are for all our future, ladies and gentlemen. And we need, in a new way of thinking, in an interdisciplinary understanding the whole complexity in all our life, as he targeted at alma mater. And at the end, I would say, science's education must be a strong attitude again for our society in Europe, for our survival. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Najlepša hvala profesorju dr. Felixu Ungarju. Ja, res, izzivi za znanost, so challenges for science and education is the topic of this year's conference, izzivi za znanost in izobraževanje. Professor Ungar pa je omenil seveda tudi izzive za družbo. But Professor Ungar also mentioned challenges for the society as such. Začudil se je, da vidi toliko mladih ljudi v dvorani, toliko študentov, še bolj bi bil začuden seveda, če bi vedel, da vas preko live prenosa sledi še ostalih 400. So Professor Ungar was very surprised to see so many young faces, so many students in the audience, but he would have been more surprised if he knew that there are another 400 students following through live stream in other classrooms inside. Interdisciplinarnost, transnacionalnost, gradnja mostov so, kot smo slišali, ključni pristopi delovanja Alma Mater Europeja in zato smo še posebej počaščeni, da danes v Mariboru gostimo kot keynote speakerja profesorja dr. Andreja Margo iz Romunije, ki je v zadnjih desetletjih kot dvakratni rektor, zunanji minister in minister za izobraževanje Romunije pustil neizbrisen pečat predvsem v evropskem akademskem prostoru. As we've heard, interdisciplinarity, transnationality, and building bridges are crucial approaches and principles of Alma Mater's academic endeavors, And we therefore feel very privileged for being able to host as the keynote speaker Professor Andrej Marga, former twice rector, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Minister of Education of Romania, who has with his endless and ongoing engagement left an enormous contribution in the European academic environment. Professor Marga, please join me.
President of Slovenia, President Ungar, President Toplak, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me at this meeting, which honors me. It honors me also because a very peculiar situation. During our lives, I had the privilege to be the successor of Professor Toplak everywhere. He led the Danubian Conference of the Universities. After him, I was elected president. It was an honor. Then he moved to the European level. I moved after him. And now I'm moving to Maribor after him, of course. Thank you very much for this invitation. I would like to understress also the fact that Professor Toplak is a very courageous man to create a university in Europe where there are a lot of universities having different caliber, a university which already counts. It's a very wise measure, very wise idea, and I congratulate him and his collaborators, and of course the people, very dynamic people from this university. Our topic is all about people, challenges for science and education. Allow me to continue the challenge expressed by Professor Ungar, the challenge of the world in which we are living now. The world is bringing a lot of challenges to us. It is more than the feeling that this world, the world emerged in '89, has entered a process of change. In the last 5 years, the most prestigious intellectuals, the most prestigious thinkers in Europe and in America believe world society has become deregulated. There is a French book, a wonderful one, on this topic. There is a talk of world disorganization, also a French book. There are some diagnoses which signal disorder. Henry Kissinger gave his book, World Order, in which he defends this idea, the world entered in disorder. One of the best geopoliticians in Germany, Carlo Massala, published recently Weltunordnung, a wonderful book. And finally, in America, Robert Kaplan published a book on the anarchy of the existing world, on the so-called, he said, liberal imperialism, which suscits reactions everywhere. I think that these diagnoses are too dramatic. I would defend the idea that within the disorder, the accused disorder, the science of a future order can be perceived. I affirm there is a reassertion of national identities, European, personal, and so on. All these identities may create the impression of disorder, deregulation, or crisis, but it is a process that will mark the comings in the world. We know very well, decades ago, a famous intellectual from this part of the world, Ernst Gellner, said that the assertion of identities means nationalism. I think that it's not necessary to cultivate the identities, to defend the identities, doesn't mean necessary nationalism. And today we are living in a world in which the identities are coming again and again on the arena, but it doesn't mean that the nationalism is coming. My interpretation competes anyway with both the thesis of the growing irrelevance of identities and the thesis of their invariability. Allow me to bring some arguments for the idea that the identities are coming more and more on the arena, and then, depending on the time, I will make a small application to the question of integrity. I first support the thesis of the reaffirmation of national identities, a series of factual arguments. The first argument. The key is the fact that globalization, conceived, as we know, in the 90s, and then applied for breaking the customs, has got up far. The problem that has arisen is not that exchanges have intensified, but that there has been a stronger tendency to address anything in terms of exchange values. Over border control, stimulates internal investment, revises international agreements, and prepares other measures to bring national developments under control. The second argument. Many countries have become aware that a different solution must be advanced between the invading state, illustrated by the previous Eastern socialism, and the debilitated state cultivated by the neoliberal ideology. Practically, the formula of the state responsible for the situation of its own society, its own citizens, it means the state which assumes its responsibility for the condition of its society has prevailed. Globalization, thus, includes this state more and more explicitly. The third argument. A change is already taking place in international politics. One thing has become clear. The pressure for democratization in the 90s, irrespective of the way in which it has been motivated, this pressure has, we have to say, ambivalent effects. It democratizes macro structures, but it may also prevent democratization because of the slide into kleptocracy and other diseases. One excellent analysis made the American army showed that in some regime supported by America, the government, the people who compose the government have become kleptocrats, have become people who practice kleptocracy. Against this background, the argument formulated within the American army is the following. America has to be careful who will take the power as a consequence of the democratization. It has become clear that the democratization of a society needs not only external pressures, but also the constant criticism of the democratization in the making from the part of the population in the respective country. Recently, 2 months ago, in Germany was published a wonderful analysis about this Politik der Beherrschung, and the analysis argued this idea. It's impossible to bring democracy without an effort of the local population of the nations. The first argument. We are living a trend to digitalization of communications. It is very clear that some liberties, some rights are in danger because of the so-called hidden people, hidden behind the signatures given in the internet, in other media. it's very clear. The election campaigns have started to depend on the so-called social votes. People's behaviors depend already on electronically managed sites. A vast backstage leadership is organized. It is very clear that a solution must be found out. According to the existing premises and ideas, the solution is to develop the identity as a citizen towards the identity as an actor in the digital world. It's a relatively complicated, but not too complicated solution. The fifth argument. We know the European Union is increasingly aware of the need for reorganization. Some countries report that they cannot achieve the developments they have planned without rediscussing the integration that has been applied since 1990. Even Irish historians are thinking around the Euro exit. The best historian from Ireland, Benjamin Zem, for instance, they said it's the case probably to have an Euro exit. Not to mention Poland and Hungary, which look for more convenient arrangements. Brexit has shown that behind speeches there is a reality which the service optimism of bureaucracy cannot hide. Some analysis from Britain devoted to the idea of Britain as member of the European Union. Some analyses are saying that for Britain at least, was not a big advantage to be member of the European Union. It's only an evaluation, of course. In any case, one of the best contemporaneous among the German historians, I think history is very strong in Germany, Andreas Wirsching, recently published a book, and I would quote, only quote, in any case, integration in its traditional form as a specific Western European post-war project has come to an end. Its time has passed and priorities have to be established again. It is clear that another configuration of European Union must be taken as horizon. In favor of the reaffirmation of identities, I bring also arguments offered by relevant research in history and social sciences. The first one, historians, mostly Germans and British, drew attention to the national emergence of the components of the rule of law. One step ahead, sociologists brought forward the national and global interweaving in the lives of today's societies and circumscribe the role of national state against the background of globalization. New researches in America have shown that the globalizing structure of the current world and the dynamics of nations are not aligned to one another. It is therefore illusory to believe that national states should be forgotten in the context of globalization. The second argument, political research brings attention to the fact that what is happening in Europe, I mean the attenuation of sovereign states and with it of nations and ultimately of democracy, is not universal. Nations, politically and not ethnically conceived, are called upon to play a prominent role. Let's see America, let's see China, let's see Japan, let's see Germany, and so on. The third argument. Of course, we are talking today on complexity. It's a complex theory on complexity anyway. It is very clear that it is not longer possible to have a center that does not trigger centrifugal movements. In any case, from many directions, there has been a pressure to change the assessment of the nation's role so that they may regain their status, avoiding the nationalism again and again. A brief comparison is edifying. we, as Romanians, are following what happened in France because of the language, first of all, and because of political reasons, of course. In the 80s, in France, was in many books, many speeches, this idea, the Gaullist perspective on Europe, based on the role of nations, is defeated. The universalism has won. Excellent lady, Catherine Durandin, published a book, La France contre l'Amérique, in order to defend this idea. The universalist policy of Bill Clinton, of John Kennedy, that was later, has defeated the national approach represented by Charles de Gaulle. Now, the best, the most prestigious French intellectuals, I mean, for instance, Pierre Manant, they are defending this idea. Without national state, the democracy is not possible anymore. We don't have democracy for other framework at the time, at this time. In the future, it is possible that, but now it's clear. Anyway, a man, such wise men like Pierre Manant, one of the best theoreticians in the world, is bringing again and again this argument. Democracy is supposing a national state. It doesn't mean a nationalistic state, again and again. It is clear. The national states have a greater weight than has been accepted in the dominant ideologies of the last decades. Unlike the neoliberal internationalism, national identity must be assumed to be a reality. In contrast to a past-favoring outlook, the explanation must be given in the framework of today's social sciences. Anyway, the so-called modernization, and we have complex theory of modernization, proves to be a project loaded with insufficiencies if it ignores the reality of nations, and nations turn out to be only the object of ideological manipulation if they are not approached from the perspective of modernization. For people who are working in the social sciences, philosophy, of course, is a topic how to integrate the national identity, the identities, all identities, the European identity, for instance, and so on, in the theory of modernization. We know this theory is based on initiatives taken by Hegel, by Auguste Comte, by Karl Marx, finally by Max Weber, and recently by Habermas, Niklas Luhmann, and Giddens. All these thinkers have secundarized, have neglected to some extent the weight of the national states. It's a topic today to integrate in the theory of modernization this reality of identities. I would bring another argument. You know very well that the inspirator of the French president now is Jacques Attali, fundamentally. And Jacques Attali published a year ago, I think, a book, Devenir Soi, Prenez le pouvoir sur votre vie. And Attali argued this idea. I quote, one cannot become a subject, devenir soi, in a country that has abandoned itself. And otherwise, a country fails to survive if it does not sufficiently raise the desire to take its fate into its own hands. And Jacques Attali is a universalist, not a nationalist, very, very, very clear. Of course, in the social sciences, philosophy, we are discussing about different identities, and there is a very, very, very diversified analysis of this topic. What is very clear is the fact that we, as human beings, are appealing at our identity in many, many occasions of our life. On the other side, we have to accept against the nationalist outlook, against the traditionalism, that identities are not formed traditionally anymore, only in terms of language, in terms of customs, of the home community, but in relation to the demand imposed by the market and the universalization of liberties and rights, as well, more recently, of globalization of competitive achievements. Many people in Europe are under the impact of a book, not necessarily consulted, but the book about the so-called national, post-national constellation, post-nationale Constellation. Of course, the most profiled philosopher of this time, Habermas, he published this book and argued the idea that we enter in a post-nationale constellation, in a post-national constellation. But Habermas also was lucid enough for observing that even that the ideal of full employment is not practicable, is not realistic outside of the national state. National state remains the framework for ensuring unemployment better and better. The social justice is not possible outside of the national state. There are, anyway, some topics on the political agenda which could be not solved, could be not covered without such a framework. New facts, I think, can be added today to Habermas' limitation. There are possible changes in a society, some causes from outside, but democratization is not possible without the action of the forces within the respective state. Just as justice cannot impose upon a society from the outside. Both democratization and the establishment of justice have the national state among the conditions of their possibility. This idea of the reaffirmation of identities, this thesis, under the conditions of existing modernization, is not a return to a revolute past, but a better way to solve current problems. It does not mean resuming old and compromised nationalism. It is bringing opportunities, but also challenges to change some present accepted options in order to advance better solutions. I approach in my text, which is larger, for instance, the question of governance. There is a large confusion with regard to the governance. A lot of people are hoping that governance will replace the government. It doesn't work. Then there is a difficult discussion on democracy in Europe. We have to say, in Britain, they are accusing the post-democracy in Europe, which means to elect in any time the same elite, which is not compatible with a democracy. Anyway, there are many details, and the French lawyers have accused in the recent juridical literature the decline of the normativity in the European legislation. Let me conclude with a short reflection on the integrity. We have today researches very developed on the identities, democracy, and modern society. I privilege, from my personal perspective, this analysis launched by Charles Taylor, based on the experience of Canada, but based also on other experiences, Central European, Asian, and so on experiences. Anyway, the assumption of such research is that in order to give a minimal sense to our lives, in order to have an identity, we need an orientation to the good, a certain sense of qualitative discrimination on what is incomparably superior. In other words, we cannot reach the unity of our personal life without reference to something outside of us and there is no personal identity without more comprehensive identities. Anyway, I would add rapidly the observation of the best pedagogue of this time. I think Howard Gardner is the best now. He informed us in the best manner about the pedagogy. And he made the distinction between being a member of professional group, a lot of people are members, and behaving like a professional. It's a very important distinction, and against this background, I try to recuperate in my publications, some of my publications, some very simple ideas. First of all, to fructify the initiative taken by the German jurist to elaborate a deontological code of the jurists. Of course, you may say there are a lot of codes, but the behaviors are different. But we have to respect also. And then another idea is, I think that we have to recuperate the integrity as a value of the ethics. We could understand rapidly which are the orientations in the ethics, but now the time is for a recuperation of the integrity. Thank you very much for your attention. Sorry.
Thank you very much, profesor Marga, najlepša hvala. Torej, predstavil nam je svoj pogled na potrebo po raziskovanju, ki temelji na konvergenci interesov, ki seveda izhajajo iz novo nastalih znanstvenih disciplin. S tem se pa ukvarja tudi Slovenska akademija znanosti in umetnosti, ki svojim poslanstvom prispeva k razvoju znanstvene misli in umetniške ustvarjalnosti. We've heard a lot about the need for research based on convergence of interests resulting from new disciplines, and that's exactly what the Slovene Academy of Sciences and Arts does. So I would now kindly ask to join me on stage Dr. Boštjan Žekš, former president of SAZU and now advisor of President Borut Pahor. Torej, Dr. Boštjan Žekš, akademik in nekdanji predsednik Slovenske akademije znanosti in umetnosti.
Spoštovane gospe, spoštovani gospodje, predsednik, organizatorji, dr. Unger, dr. Toplak, vsi.
Profesor Toplak, drage dame in gospodje.
Jaz sem tukaj že star gost pri vas. Ne le, da sem star, tudi gost sem bil že večkrat.
So I've been a guest here a long time, or for many, many years, not only as a guest, but also as old.
In od mene, kot veste, ne morete pričakovati takega poglobljenega govora, kot je profesor Marga ga imel. Jaz prinašam vedno samo pozdrav.
I will not go into such depths as Professor Marga. I always bring only greetings.
Čigav pozdrav prinašam, to se pa menja.
Whose greetings I bring, well, that changes.
Ker ko človek pride v, rečemo, neka leta, opazi, da ima več klobukov. In zadnjič, ko sem bil tukaj, sem imel klobuk svetovalca predsednika republike in sem vas pozdravil v njegovem imenu. Danes pa nadomeščam predsednika akademije in vas pozdravljam v njegovem imenu.
People, of course, have many hats or many forms, and I have been here in different forms, first as an advisor of the President of Slovenia, Mr. Pahor, and then today I'm here as a representative of the President of the Slovene Academy of Sciences and Arts.
Ja. Ampak vsebinsko bi pa le rad eno samcato točko, mojo bolečino in moje vprašanje predstavil.
But I would just want to emphasize one single issue, something that can be described as pain or my question.
Kakšna naj bi bila znanost v takem okolju, kot je naše?
What should science look like in the environment as is ours?
Ali moramo težiti k temu, da bi pokrivali vse znanstvene discipline, vse posamezne usmeritve, vse dele, ali se odločamo, da pokrivamo samo tam, kjer smo res dobri?
Should we strive towards trying to cover all disciplines, all sciences and all questions, or should we rather focus on things where we know we're really good at?
Te dileme nihče niti ne načenja, ne da bi jo reševal, sploh reševal. Zato, ker pametnega odgovora ni.
Nobody has even tried to discuss this dilemma because there is no good answer for it.
V prvem primeru, ko se ukvarjamo z vsem, je nujno, da ne bomo prav dobri.
In the first case, if we deal with everything, it is imperative that we are not really excellent.
In povprečna znanost je za mene slaba znanost.
And average science to me is bad science.
V drugem primeru se pa odpovemo neki nacionalni identiteti, če hočete, ker rečemo, mi tega ne bomo obravnavali.
And in the second case, we give up some part of our national identity because we simply say we will not cover this.
Tako da rešitve zgleda ni.
So it seems that there is no solution, no answer.
Ampak jaz to tukaj govorim zato, ker jaz mislim, da rešitev je, in rešitev je v vas, v mednarodnih inštitucijah, v povezavah nas, profesorjev, študentov, svetom, v stalni komunikaciji, kjer pa lahko dosežemo oboje.
But I'm saying this here today because I believe there is a solution, there is an answer. The answer are you, or is represented by you, who are trying to connect the world with science and education.
In če smo mali v velikem svetu in odprti, smo tudi veliki.
So if we are small in a big world and if we are open to it, we can also call ourselves large.
Ni pa to tako enostavno. Mi prevečkrat poudarjamo, da smo majhni.
But this is not so simple because we very often or too often emphasize how small we are.
V majhnosti ni nič slabega. Poglejte otroke, niso prijazni.
There is nothing bad in being small. I mean, just look at kids or children. Aren't they cute and nice?
Ampak se moramo obnašati tako, kot majhnosti pripada.
But we have to behave the way that is proper for those who are small.
Majhnosti pa pripada fleksibilnost, prilagodljivost, iskanje novih rešitev in tako naprej.
And this means flexibility, adjustability and looking for new solutions.
Če ste pa vi majhen in rigiden, je pa to pot v kaos in nesrečo.
But if you're small and rigid, this leads into chaos and...
In če lahko jaz ocenjujem našo situacijo tukaj, smo mi bliže tej drugi rešitvi, ko imamo vse določeno in nismo fleksibilni in nismo prilagodljivi. Tako da upam, da boste vi tukaj, Alma Mater in Akademija Evropska, pomagali nam, da se bomo tudi mi spremenili.
Okay, and if I can analyze the situation, I believe we are rather the second option, not flexible enough and not adjustable enough. So I hope that you, Alma Mater, together with the European Academy of Science and Arts, will help us solve this question. Thank you very much. Najlepša hvala doktorju Boštjanu Žekšu. Thank you very much once again. Torej, Znanstvena konferenca Alma Mater v slovenskem izobraževalnem prostoru zaseda posebno mesto. Že vrsto let smo ponosni, da poteka pod častnim pokroviteljstvom predsednika republike gospoda Boruta Pahorja. Zato smo še posebej počaščeni, da nas bo letos nagovoril tudi sam. So the Scientific Conference of Alma Mater, President Pahor. The scientific conference has been held under the auspices of the President of Slovenia, Mr. Borut Pahor, and we are very, very privileged and happy that we are having a chance to host him here today personally.
Spoštovana gospoda predsednika, ekscelence, profesorski zbor, študentke in študentje, dame in gospodje.
Dear presidents, professors, ladies and gentlemen, dear students.
Pred mano so bili zelo učeni in zelo duhoviti govori, torej se od mene pričakuje, da bom dolgočasen in izpolnil bom vaše pričakovanja.
So, before I came on stage, the speeches were really short and interesting, so I think everybody now expects me to be boring.
Predsednik profesor Ungar, najprej sprejmite, prosim, z tega mesta moje izraze hvaležnosti, da ste me leta 2013 povabili v Salzburg in me svečano imenovali za protektorja Akademije, Evropske akademije znanosti in umetnosti.
Dear President, Professor Dr. Felix Unger, President of the European Academy of Sciences and Arts, thank you very much again for inviting me to Salzburg in the year 2013 and making me protector of the European Academy.
Morda se utegnete spomniti mojih svaril glede nekaterih procesov v Evropski uniji, vendar tudi neskončnega optimizma, da jih bomo skupaj premagali in da bomo bolj povezani, tudi na področju znanosti, šli naprej skupaj.
You probably remember my fears back then, but I hope that together with joint power we will move and bring the science forward and go ahead.
Predsednik profesor Toplak, vam se želim zahvaliti, da ste me povabili medse.
Professor Toplak, President of Alma Mater, thank you very much for inviting me to the conference.
Glede vas bi se rad ta hip obrnil na vaše študentke in študente.
And because of you, I would like to address your students.
Upam, da vsi veste, kako zelo pomembno, slavno in ugledno osebnost slovenske politične zgodovine imate za svojega predsednika.
Dear students, I hope you know what an important political and public personage you have as the president of your institution.
Profesor Toplak je bil predsednik družbeno-političnega zbora Bučarjeve skupščine v začetku 90-ih let in ga smemo šteti za eno od vodilnih osebnosti slovenskega parlamentarizma, ki je z zakonodajnimi odločitvami postavila temelje nove slovenske države.
So since the 1990s or early 1990s, Professor Toplak has been one of the leading figures in the democratization and preparation of the legal basis of Slovenia.
Ko se pionir države odloči, da bo postavil na temelje univerzo, visokošolsko institucijo, je potrebno to njegovo ambicijo vzeti z vsem spoštovanjem.
So this ambition that you showed to start with the university must be taken with a lot of respect.
Malo prej sem se pogovarjal z nekaterimi izmed vas in ste to institucijo Alma Mater Evropejo zelo pohvalili iz več razlogov.
A short while ago I spoke to some of you students and all of you praised this institution and probably out of many reasons.
Omenili ste visoko stopnjo povezanosti.
You mentioned that people are very much connected.
Omenili ste odlično profesorsko zasedbo, kvalitetno znanje, ki ste ga deležni.
Excellent faculty and good quality, high quality knowledge you receive.
In tako kot profesor Toplak ste omenjali visoko stopnjo zaposljivosti po koncu šolanja.
And as Professor Toplak also mentioned in his speech, you mentioned high level of employability after graduation.
Ko mlada visokošolska institucija, praznovali boste 10 let prihodnje leto, doseže te reference in eno tako visoko stopnjo zadovoljstva med svojimi študenti, se mi zdi, je v kratkem času naredila skoraj največ.
So as a young institution, next year you will be celebrating 10 years, and if you manage to reach that much in such a short time, you've done a huge work.
Gotovo se profesoru Toplaku, vsemu profesorskemu zboru in tudi vam, kot delu te institucije, zastavlja vprašanje o perspektivah visokošolskega študija v 21. stoletju.
I'm sure that all of you are asking yourselves what are the perspectives of higher education studies in this century.
Jaz nimam strokovnih kvalifikacij, da bi si upal soditi o tem zelo pomembnem, vitalnem vprašanju, kot je rekel predsednik Evropske akademije znanosti in umetnosti.
I don't have the professional qualifications to be able to judge about that as much as Professor Unger had to.
Če bomo priče miru in stabilnosti, ki sta danes nekoliko bolj pod vprašanjem, kot sta bila morda 5 ali 10 let nazaj. Če bomo torej še naprej, vsaj v Evropi, morda tudi v svetu, priče trajnemu miru in stabilnosti, potem bomo tudi priče neverjetnemu razvoju tehnologije, za katero, za ta razvoj in njene posledice, danes tako tehnološke kot družbene niti slutiti ne moremo.
If we can be witness to this development of technology, we will of course see the fruit, the harvest of this in the future of technology, research and knowledge.
Kako se bo v takem svetu znašel univerzitetni prostor? Kako bo odgovarjal na te potrebe vprašanje, ki ga je naslovil moj cenjeni sodelavec in prejšnji predsednik Slovenske akademije znanosti in umetnosti.
So how will the university sphere respond to that? That's a question that Professor Dr. Boštjan Žekš addressed a short while ago.
Večkrat, ko nastopam v visokošolskem prostoru, spomnim na raziskavo ameriškega departmenta za delo, ki je pred leti ugotovil, da 2/3 otrok, ki zdaj obiščeta prvi razred osnovne šole, da bosta 2/3 otrok opravljala poklice, ki danes še ne obstajajo.
Okay, the American Department of Labor made an analysis that 2/3 of children who are entering school today, once they get out and graduate, they'll be performing works that today don't even exist.
Če razumemo univerzitetni študij kot vrh izobraževalnega procesa, kakšne naloge to izjemno spoznanje predstavlja za naše nadaljne načrte?
So if the academic process is the peak, what are the tasks for our future?
Tako kot rečem za vse nižje ravni izobraževanja, pravim, se mi zdi, tudi za univerzitetni študij. Poleg tega, da se tukaj dobi najkvalitetnejše znanje v študijskem ciklusu, vendarle, in to se mi zdi, da ste omenili v pogovoru z mano, ne da bi to tako definirali, vendarle to predstavlja tudi vrh vzgoje osebnosti, ki bo takoj po študiju prevzela najpomembnejše odgovornosti v njegovi ali pa njeni poklicni karieri.
Our personalities are shaped by education from different levels, starting from the elementary level to now, and this was emphasized by all of you when I talked to you earlier on, that this is what's shaping you and this is what will make you a different person once you get out of this higher education.
Če profesor Žekš ne ve, v katero smer se bo utegnil zavrteti svet, kako ne bi jaz vedel.
So if Professor Žekš doesn't know how the world will turn, how should I know that?
Ampak zdi se mi, če ekstrapoliram neke svoje osebne izkušnje, razvoj znanosti in politike in sveta in apliciram to na neka vprašanja, ki si jih zastavlja recimo moj sin, ki je zdaj na univerzi, mislim, da pridemo do nekega pomembnega zaključka, nekega odgovora.
So if I try to analyze this, bring it together and think in the eyes of my son, who is now also in his university years, I think we can come to one conclusion.
Verjetno bo ne samo trg delovne sile, ampak zlasti čisto človeška, znanstvena potreba vodila k temu, da bomo imeli izjemno specializacijo znanj.
It's probably that the labor market will be the one leading us towards specialization of knowledge.
Domnevam. Ampak na drugi strani, to sem prepričan, bo potrebno imeti eno zelo široko osebnost z vsemi referencami nekoga, ki je sposoben razumeti kontekst sodobnega sveta. Torej, ozka specializacija znanja, na drugi strani pa ena velika duhovna in tudi znanstvena širina, če želite, osebnosti, ki bo razumela vse spremembe, ki jim bo dnevno priča na njegovi karieri, ki jo bo neštetokrat zamenjal v času življenja.
Okay, but what I believe we need is narrow specialization with a very wide intellect that will be able to cover all of the aspects and needs that the society is placing towards us in the future as a challenge.
Poglejte, pred 11 leti je Steve Jobs predstavil mobilni telefon, pameten telefon, nadgradnjo v bistvu. Danes ga ima cel svet, vključno vsemi nami tukaj se mi zdi.
11 years ago, Steve Jobs introduced the smartphone. Today, 11 years later, everybody has it, including all of you here.
Če bomo priče trajnemu miru in stabilnosti, se napoveduje take tehnološke spremembe, da si mi danes niti misliti ne moremo njenih neštetih posledic.
And if we are witness to peace and stability, the development will go even further. We cannot imagine how far it can develop.
Vsak od vas bo na eni od teh tehnoloških napredkov poglabljal svoja znanja. Toda hkrati, če bo hotel razumeti, kam vse skupaj sploh gre, bo mogel imeti eno široko znanstveno in človeško obzorje glede sveta, v katerem živi.
Each of you will be able to develop its own competences, but you will have to, of course, in addition to specialist knowledge, have to have or need a wide aspect, wide understanding of things to get you far.
In s tem prihajam do konca in do neke zaključne misli. Mislim, da je profesor Toplak, ko je začel z postavljanjem te univerze, slutil to potrebo.
So my final thought, when Professor Toplak started with establishment of this university, he probably had this in mind already.
Želi vam dati kvalitetno znanje.
He wants to give you a high quality of knowledge.
Tudi hkrati vam želi omogočiti, da dokončno razvijete svojo osebnost, preden prevzamete pomembne odgovornosti v svojih poklicih.
And at the same time enabling you to discover your own personality before you embark on a new important way of working life.
Tej univerzi bi rad čestitev, visokošolski instituciji, za vse, kar je v 9 letih storila. To je kratek čas za tako pomembne ustanove.
I would like to congratulate this institution for everything it has achieved in the last 9 years. It's a very short time for a higher education institution.
Rad bi čestitev za pogum, da se ustanovi v relativno konzervativni družbi, v kateri je pravzaprav bila ena univerza, ki bo drugo leto praznovala 100. obletnico, praktično edina 3/4 stoletja, potem pa smo praktično skoraj da tja do ustanovitve nove države imeli samo 2.
I would like to congratulate you for the courage, because one of the big universities will be celebrating 100 years next year, and you probably know that for the first 75 years this university was the only one, and only later the others developed.
Če bo to sporočilo uspela predati svojim študentkam in študentom, da poleg znanja, poleg talenta, mora imeti človek v življenju tudi en pogum in ustrajnost. Če neka osebnost, ki zaključi ta študij, to ima, potem ima velike možnosti, ne samo, da bo razumel svet okrog sebe, ampak da ga bo soustvarjal.
Knowledge, talent and courage. If you manage to transmit this message, then you have a lot of possibilities to really make it big in the world.
Želim vam odlično prihodnost.
I wish you a nice future. Thank you. Najlepša hvala, spoštovani gospod predsednik. Thank you very much, Mr. President Borut Pahor, za vaš nagovor in seveda privilegij, da smo vas lahko gostili na Alma Mater Europea. So very privileged to be able to host you here at Alma Mater Europea. Tako, cenjene dame in gospodje, prvi del plenarja na odru, tukaj na odru je končan, sledi pa mu še pred odmorom, torej ne nam pobegniti, slavnostna otvoritev razstave Evropski univerzitetni mostovi, ki se bo odvijala v prvem nadstropju v avli. Dear ladies and gentlemen, the first part of the plenary session is finished, but only on this stage, so I would kindly ask you not to leave the room. We will continue with the festive opening of the European University Bridges exhibition, which will take part on the first floor of Alma Mater Europea in the aula. V ta namen prosim, da se mi na otvoritvi pridružijo in po vas, cenjeni gostje, bodo prišle študentke, sledeči gostje. So I would kindly ask the following guests to go with us. Just a few of them, there are students. You'll be asked to go with them. The rest, please stay here. You will have live streaming on the screen. Okay, and in the meantime, there will be some music, Dada Kladenik, accompanied by a guitar, Marko Zaletel. To se pravi, prosim, da se našim študentkam pridružijo dr. Boštjan Žekš, profesor dr. Laslo Rosival, please join our students, gospod profesor dr. Vojko Flis, direktor bolnišnice Maribor, vidim, da gospoda Peterleta še ni tukaj, gospod Drago Šketa, Your Excellency, Vaša ekscelenca, gospa Edith Patorfi, prosim, pridite z nami, veleposlanica Mađarske, profesor dr. Andrej Marga, could you please go with us, and of course at the end profesor Toplak, profesor Ungar in pa predsednik gospod Borut Pahor. Če se nam pridružite za otvoritev, 5 do 10 minut bo trajal glasbeni vložek, spremljali nas boste pa live iz ozadja.
Med iskrenimi ljudmi se nikoli ne zgodi, da zmaga laž. Pri pri vseh drugih pa velja, da je nekaj slabega, če preveč priznaš. In odkar ta svet stoji, so na njem živeli ti in ti. Človek bližnjega spozna, Boga ta enkrat izda, do takrat pa malo ve. Med iskrenimi ljudmi so preproste vse reči, kot jasen dan. Se pa najde marsikdo, ki se zdi mu prepusto, če je svet ubran. In če misliš tudi ti, da je dolg čas brez laži, pojdi raje z njo. Naj se s dnevom jutrišnjim med iskrenimi ljudmi zbudi. Med iskrenimi ljudmi so preproste vse reči, kot jasen dan. Se pa najde marsikdo, ki se zdi mu prepusto, če je svet ubran. In če misliš tudi ti, da je dolg čas brez laži, pojdi raje z njo. Naj se s dnevom jutrišnjim med iskrenimi ljudmi zbudi. Naj se s dnevom jutrišnjim med iskrenimi ljudmi zbudi. Hvala lepa. When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, and suddenly north wind begins to blow, close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will, because you got a friend. If the skies above you grows dark and full of clouds, and then on north wind begins to blow, keep your hand together and call my soon you'll hear me knocking at your door. You just call out my name, and I know wherever I am, I come running, 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 running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. Now, ain't it good to know that you got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you and they'll desert you, and if you so that you let them, oh, but don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I come running, 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 running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will, because you got a friend. Oh, you got a friend. Oh, you got.
Welcome to the opening of the exhibition European University Bridges. Evropski univerzitetni mostovi so iniciativa Združenja Harfistično omizje, več o tem pa nam bo povedal dr. Damjan Prelovšek. European University Bridges are an initiative of the Association Table of the Harp, and more about this, dr. Damjan Prelovšek. Izvolite.
Spoštovani gosti, spoštovani gospod predsednik Borut Pahor, spoštovani gospod predsednik Akademije, gospod Unger, in seveda ne smem pozabiti tudi gospoda Toplaka, ki je iniciator, mislim, vsega tega. Pozdravil bi tudi evropskega poslanca Lojzeta Peterleta in verjetno sem pozabil še marsikoga od vas. Naprošen sem bil, da povem nekaj besed o teh skulpturah, ki so za menoj, predvsem pa o njihovem avtorju, to se pravi gospodu Gaberiju.
Dear Presidents, gospod Borut Pahor, Mr. Borut Pahor, profesor dr. Felix Unger, profesor dr. Ludvik Toplak, spoštovani gospod Lojze Peterle, poslanec Slovenije v Evropski uniji. Cenjeni goste, verjetno sem koga pozabil, dovolite pa mi, da povem nekaj besed. So allow me please to provide you with a few words about the author, Andrej Gaberi, and about the sculptures as such.
Če hočemo razumeti, mislim, pomen teh skulptur, ki jih je naredil gospod Gaberi, je treba seveda omeniti tudi situacijo, v kateri se nahajamo, v kateri je tudi kulturna situacija, v kateri je Evropa.
If we want to understand the meaning of these sculptures and the way the sculptor, the artist Gaberi, made them, we need to consider the situation in which Europe finds itself at the moment.
Umetnost v Evropi in kultura kažeta znake dekadence. To moramo žal priznati, človek gleda televizijo, gleda vse in vidi, da pravzaprav nimamo več teh klasičnih vrednot, iščemo nove vrednote, ki pa še vedno niso vse jasne.
Culture and arts show a lot of decadence at the moment. So if you watch television these days, you will see that the values are not clear anymore.
Bil sem prisoten kot veleposlanik leta 2000, ko je gospod Gaberi prinesel svojo praško muzo in je to bila ena prvih skulptur, ki so bile postavljene v okviru teh mostov med razumevanjem med univerzami.
In the year 2000, when I was ambassador, I was witness to setting up one of the first such sculptures that was positioned in Prague, and this was the beginning of the series.
Človek se vpraša, kaj je v teh skulpturah, da so edinstvene. To se pravi, kaj je v njih tega, kar lahko še imenujemo klasična umetnost.
So one can ask himself, well, what is it that makes these sculptures unique, or why can we still call them classical art?
V teh skulpturah je združeno precej evropske tradicije. To se pravi najboljše, kar je bilo v Evropi ustvarjenega, recimo tudi od renesanse do danes.
These sculptures unite a lot of cultural traditions. They unite the best that has been developed or established since the Renaissance and until now.
V teh skulpturah je nekaj, lahko bi rekli, mura, je nekaj bočonja, je nekaj še drugih, lahko bi imenovali še celo vrsto umetnikov, ki so delovali v Evropi, in te skulpture pravzaprav so bi lahko rekel, iz rezultata oziroma sinteza tega, kar je bilo ustvarjenega v naši zgodovini.
We could name a long list of artists who, with their work, contributed to the happening of these sculptures and are witness to what has been developing in the cultural and artistic space in Europe lately.
Poudarjati je treba, da Slovenci pravzaprav nimamo zelo veliko kiparjev, ki bi bili pomembni. Predvsem je tukaj tudi vprašanje materijala. Kiparstvo je dražje od slikarstva in drugih zvrsti umetnosti, zato ker je potreben tukaj bron, potreben je marmor, kar je zelo drago.
We have to say that there are not a lot of artists, sculptors in Slovenia, definitely not as many as painters, for example. So why is that so? Well, the reason is because the material these artists and sculptors work with is very, very expensive.
Jaz mislim, da v to skupino, katero lahko štejemo Gangla, Bernekerja in pa seveda potem še nekaj kiparjev medvojnega časa, lahko preštevamo tudi našega Gaberija, ki pravzaprav nadaljuje to tradicijo umetnosti.
Well, not only Gangl, Werneker and some other contemporary artists, I think we can also include our Andrej Gaberi among these artists.
S tem jaz mislim, da danes je poslanstvo umetnosti je v tem, ne da nekoga šokira, ampak da nekomu nudi, da nekoga prisili k razmišljanju in tudi da mu da nek estetski užitek.
So the mission of art today is not to shock people, but inspire people to think, to be creative and to come to certain satisfaction at the end.
Te skulpture seveda niso nastale, čez noč. Tukaj gre za veliko delo, kiparja, ki je v pogojih tudi, ki niso verjetno ne taki, kot si jih mi predstavljamo, ustvarjal in te skulpture tudi naredil.
These sculptures did not happen overnight because the sculptor, the artist, had to work in very difficult conditions and under difficult situations.
Lahko rečemo, da tudi del naše kritike pravzaprav tega deleža gospoda Gaberija ne ceni dovolj.
And a lot of people do not appreciate the contribution of Mr. Gaberi enough.
Edini zanesljivi razsodnik je seveda čas. Ta bo pokazal dejansko, kam lahko umestimo te skulpture.
The only judge is time, and time will show where we can place these sculptures.
Prepričan sem, da ves ta trud kiparja Gaberija ni bil zaman, da bo to ostalo in da bo ostal tudi velik spomin na te čase, ko so bile te stvari narejene.
And I'm positive that all of the efforts of the artist was not in vain and that there will be time when these sculptures will be appreciated the way they should be.
S tem bi končal svoj kratek govor in vas seveda vabim, da se tudi te skulpture ogledate in da tudi o njih premišljate in da seveda tudi si užijete, ta estetski učinek, ki te skulpture imajo.
By saying that, I would like to close my thoughts. Please take time, enjoy these sculptures and try to grab all of the impact that they can give you.
Hvala lepa.
Thank you very much. Najlepša hvala, gospod dr. Prelovšek. Spoštovane dame in gospodje, ker je pa današnja razstava posvečena predvsem tudi doktorju Zemljevajsu. So dear ladies and gentlemen, since today's exhibition is also partly dedicated to Dr. Zemljevajs, a few words by Professor Dr. Laszlo Rosival in English will not be translated. Torej, Dr. Rosival bo pa na kratko nekaj povedal, ne bomo pa prevajali.
It is my privilege to inform you and tell you that Ignác Semmelweis, who is a great scientist and medical doctor, was born 200 years ago, and this year is announced to be an official year, a memorial year, and the chief patronage of that is the President of Hungary, János Áder. Yeah. On this occasion, the Semmelweis University decided to donate a Semmelweis sculpture to the alma mater, the University of Europea.
Thank you very much. Najlepša hvala doktorju Laszlo Rosivalu. Več o tem, more about this in the second part. I would now kindly ask the gentleman to cut the ribbon. Torej sledi svečan prerez traku za otvoritev razstave. Tako. Profesor Unger, gospod Pahor, profesor Toplak. Najlepša hvala. Thank you very much. The exhibition is now officially open, torej razstava je s tem uradno odprta. Oglejte si ta umetniška dela, enjoy these works of art. Za vse, ki nas spremljate v dvorani, sledi 30 minut odmora, oziroma rečemo 25. Kava je v preddverju dvorane, nadaljujemo ob 12:20. Najlepša hvala vsem skupaj in upam, da se vidimo po odmoru. Thank you very much. We'll continue in 25 minutes. So at 12:25 there is a coffee break and we'll see you shortly.